Hello and welcome to another edition of the College Strength Podcast.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Andrew.
And I'm Alex. Okay, so how's your training been going this week, Andrew?
You know, about the same as last week.
Oh really?
Yeah,
That's interesting.
No, it's going pretty well actually.
That's good.
I'm leaving for Spain real soon.
You've already left for Spain?
I've already left for Spain?
Yeah, Andrew's already left for Spain. Yeah, we recorded this right before he left for Spain.
It's true.
He's somewhere in Barcelona?
Madrid, probably.
Oh, Madrid?
Yeah,
Dude.
I'll probably be, going everywhere.
Yeah.
We're actually planning on flying to different countries while we can.
True.
Of course, with Brexit right now, obviously, there may be
some
issues.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
We'll breeze over that one.
We'll breeze over that
one.
one.
So you don't want to talk about, what are we talking about today?
Well, today we're actually going to talk about a pretty interesting topic of gym ethics, right?
Yeah, and it's not just like basic ethics that you see written on your YMCA wall. Yeah. This is ethics that are unspoken and things that we believe every person who goes to the gym should just know when you come in there.
For real. Okay, well, I want to start by talking about a personal story that happened to me recently that I would say just really pissed me off, and it was so unnecessary. But so the other day I was in the gym and I'd already done my squats and everything, and I was about to do some bench press, and I was warming up, so it was but it was super busy because Summer B is really busy. There's a lot of freshmen and stuff.
A lot of newbies.
A lot of newbies, and they just have no idea about anything. But so I'm going up to the bench and I put all my stuff down, whatever. I go grab some water. I come back, and there's literally only 2 plates on the bench, and by that I mean that on the rack that is attached to the bench, there's a 25 on each side. So I reach down to grab the 25, and I put it on the bar, and I put the clip on, and then I go to get the other 25, and as I go to get it, this kid walks over from another bench that also has another rack, and takes the 25, and I'm like, yo, what the hell, man? And he goes back to his bench and puts it on, and his friend is just looking at me, and I'm just giving this kid the death stare of all death stares, and he's to the point that he sends his friend back to apologize to me.
Oh man.
And I'm like, yeah, but there really isn't the point. Why did you come over to a rack that had someone on it and take the 25 without asking me when literally I had a 25?
And there's probably a bunch of benches open.
Yeah, too, what I'm saying is what did this guy think I was going to do? Bench press with a 25 on one side and then just no plate on the other? What was he expecting? There's only 2 plates on my rack. I'm just trying to warm up, man.
Pretty standard.
But it's just, it's so frustrating. It's people are born with just no sense of what to do.
Yeah, so today we're just going to talk about these different little issues that kind of bother us when it comes to these gyms. But first, before we talk about the specifics of what we think, why don't we talk about some things that are a little ethics that other gyms put up that may be a little ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about, I know you've never been to Planet Fitness, but Planet Fitness...
And I'm never going to go.
Never going to go.
There's no amount of money anyone can pay me to get in a Planet Fitness. I will never enter those doors.
They have the lunk alarm.
But they don't even have barbells.
They don't have barbells, no. And their weights
me.
only go up to 70 or 75 pounds. I don't remember.
So you basically can't do anything though.
Yeah, pretty much. So what do you think? What do you think about gym intimidation? Because the whole aspect of their marketing campaign goes along the lines of, we have an intimidation judgment-free zone.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because fitness is the most judgmental thing that you can possibly take part in. Because no matter what you do, no matter what you look like, no matter how much you can lift, people will judge you in one way or another, right?
Always.
Every time some guy puts 4 plates on the bench press, I'm watching him to see if he's actually bench pressing 4 plates with good form or if he's just bouncing off his chest, right? But maybe I'm not watching some 70-year-old woman on the treadmill as much because I don't really care because she's doing it for different reasons. So I think that the whole kind of marketing campaign that there's no shame is really bullshit, because how can you get motivated if no one is trying to push themselves?
I know.
Because everyone's going in there, they're walking on the treadmill for 20 minutes and then we leave because the strongest guy in there can bench press 75 on with dumbbells. So he's not really very strong.
Right.
Because even me with my poverty bench, I can do the 95s for a couple sets of 10.
Yeah, let me just tell a quick story about Planet Fitness. I had a friend, because I never went to Planet Fitness, but I had a friend that went there, and he was actually curling with 25-pound dumbbells.
Oh.
25-pound dumbbells.
Big boy.
Not a big boy.
Huge guy.
Huge. 25, just going pretty hard. and he claims he sets them on the floor. Maybe he dropped them, maybe he didn't.
Even if you drop 25s, man,
they're not going to make a lot of noise.
You could throw 25s at a wall and they probably wouldn't even dent it.
Apparently, this old lady walks over, stares at him, and lunks him, and they just kick him out. No questions asked.
Does he have a membership, or is he?
He has a membership. He's a consistent member, goes there every day. You know, I don't know if he's making a lot of results, but he's going there every day.
Probably not. It's Planet Fitness.
Well, he pays the $10 a month that everybody else does, so he gets it.
I mean, I think it's kind of, it's like going into somewhere, right, and you're trying to do a high jump, but there's a low ceiling. You can progress.
That's a great
there's always
analogy.
limits, right?
Right.
And it's if the most you've ever seen someone like bench press with dumbbells is 75s, when you're never gonna think that you're gonna be so limited by that, because you're gonna be like, all right, well, I'm bench pressing 50s, that must be pretty good. Where in reality, at any other gym, there's some dude repping out the like 200s or whatever.
Right.
It's just, I think it's just stupid.
And we talked about mental molds on one of the older episodes.
Yeah.
And you know, how are you going to ever break these mental molds that you set in this Planet Fitness are going to be completely broken when you go to a university gym or just a general like Crunch Fitness kind of gym. You know, whatever you go to, it's just going to be, your scheme is going to be blown, and you're not going to be functioning to your fullest potential because you're surrounding yourself with people who are not pushing you to
That's
limits.
so true, dude. I think the most important point, which people just don't even think about, right? If you're creating Planet Fitness, just don't let some dude that's going there to lift weights join, right? If you're creating a gym that is free of judgment, then don't have dumbbells that go up to 75. Have dumbbells that go up to like 50. Don't have any machines that are for people that are going to try and lift. And just tell people who try and lift that sign up, they shouldn't sign up, or make it like...
Well, they're not going to turn away the free money, though.
Yeah, but it's just...
They're just going to kick you out when you try.
Yeah, so you're paying money to get kicked out of a gym for curling 25s.
Yeah.
That is literally ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
Like, I do obscene things in the gym all the time. I probably deserve to get kicked out, right? I've never been kicked out of a gym, and touch wood, because it's going to happen one day. I'm well aware of that. But I think that it's really stupid. How can you run a business that is all about protecting people that don't need to be protected? If you're like, you know, not even in a mean way, like if you're really fat and you're trying to make progress, in some way you want to feel ashamed because you want to know that you need to be doing better and you need to be trying harder. Like, I have total respect for like people that go in the gym and they're overweight and they're trying really hard to lose weight, and I see them in there consistently. There's a couple of people in our gym that are like that, and I'm like, wow, you know, that's awesome, man. Keep going, you keep doing you. I have zero respect for fat people that go in and walk on the treadmill for 1 second and then walk out and act like that's a big workout and they're doing all this shit about getting fit. Like, you're not helping anyone, you're not helping yourself, and there's no place for that in the fitness industry.
Well, what they're doing is they're just helping their conscience, you know?
Yeah.
Because they want to say that I've been in the gym, but, you know, if you're really trying to make a change, which I honestly believe a lot of people are trying to make a change when they're in the gym, but they just don't have the information to use it.
I mean, that's a fair point too. I think when I first started training, I would do like kind of similar stuff, because it would make me feel good that I'd gone to the gym when in reality I wasn't doing shit. But then I started reading stuff, and I was lucky that I was in an environment where people were pushing themselves, so that I could see that, you know, deadlifting 225 is pretty pathetic, because there's some dude in my gym deadlifting 405. Not little did I know that like the world record is like 800 pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the time, like, someone deadlifting 405 was huge for me, and it helped me to progress, but I never saw that there were any limits, right?
That is really interesting, because the same thing happened to me when I went to the YMCA. I thought deadlifting 315 was great, and that's what I used to be deadlifting. Yeah. And then I see you deadlifting like 5, 6 plates, you know, whatever. Yeah. And it really actually made mine go up a lot more too. Right. Yeah, Not because I changed my workout, which I did, but it's because it's the company you keep.
If
you surround yourself with people who want to not only just motivate you with positive attitudes, but want to push you in the gym because they're doing more than you, you're going to improve as well.
That's so accurate. I think that has a huge carryover to life as well. You know, the people you're always going to be at the lowest level of the people you hang out with, or you have the option to be. Right. So if you go in the gym and your workout partner is like flat out sprinting on the treadmill for 20 minutes and really pushing themselves to the limit, you're going to be like, well, shit, I need to be running a bit faster. Yeah. But at the same time, if you're going in the gym and your workout partner is walking on the treadmill for 20 minutes, never breaks a sweat, and then says, wow, that was a good workout, you're going to be like, hell yeah, that was a good workout. You know? I think that it's really important when you first start out to have someone that has been in the gym before.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the irony of Planet Fitness is no one that goes to Planet Fitness has any experience of going to the gym. Because it's all just like people that are trying to get fit and trying to make a little change in their life. But it's the worst place to do it because no one that is there has made that change yet.
Right.
Because once you've made that progress, you're going to go somewhere that's better, has a better environment, where people, they're really making progress are going.
Yeah, I think it's almost deceitful because they charge people very little amounts of money comparatively. Like a membership anywhere else is going to cost more than $10. So immediately you want to look at Planet Fitness.
True.
And if you don't know the information of how to lift and to reach your goals, going there necessarily may be very detrimental.
I feel that.
To like your progress.
I think it
may set you back a year or two.
No, for real. I think it's almost as dangerous as personal trainers, right?
Right.
I have a huge kind of vendetta against personal trainers because
some personal trainers.
Some personal trainers. So there's this one personal trainer in particular at my gym at home, and my mum would like go see him for sessions and stuff. And this was like while I was in college, so I didn't really know that she was like doing it or whatever. But when I went home, she would tell me about it, and then I'd go to the gym with her, and she'd like show me all the stuff she could do because obviously she was really happy with it. But like the stuff this guy had it doing, it just, my mom's not that old, and she's totally capable of way more. And this guy was like making her do bodyweight squats and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, Mom, you're wasting your time. You're wasting like 80 pounds an hour, which is like. It used to be like $110. Probably now like 90. But anyway, like you're wasting this money.
Hashtag Brexit.
Hashtag Brexit. And you're also wasting your time. And this guy just was really never pushing her because I guess he didn't know her on a personal level and he didn't know what her limits were because she's been an athlete before.
Well, I think a lot of times what it is they're being cautious. They're being more business minded than a personal trainer because you always see those old wrestling coaches who are like with the people and they really push them to the limit because they have nothing to lose, right?
That's true.
The personal trainers are an independent contractor and they have all of the insurance, and if you injure a client or whatever, it reflects badly on them and their business.
They have everything to lose, but I think at the same time they have a complete vested interest because all they care about is making sure this person comes back to them as many times as they can.
That's true.
They need this client to come back 100 times. So if this person progresses too quickly and they learn too much and they give them all these books to read or these online resources to access, then this person isn't going to need them anymore. Right. Because a personal trainer is not the same thing as a coach. A personal trainer is someone that is going to give you some basic instruction, tell you what to do, and put you on some bullshit program that he copied from bodybuilding.com, right? What a coach does is a coach helps you to progress, and a coach helps you to find different ways to continue to progress. And it's still learning, but it's more analysis, and they're helping you to understand why you need to be doing the things that you're doing, and helping you to basically learn how to do things for yourself, but just boosting the things you already have.
Yeah, since you this past year, I believe, taken on like 6 unofficial clients yourself.
Yeah.
Basically, you went in with, from my perspective, you went in with the style of giving the person something different.
Yeah. Like
you saw what I was doing, and you gave me powerlifting.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're not gonna progress if you just keep doing the same thing forever. Right. I think Albert Einstein said that stupidity is just doing the same thing over and over. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Exactly.
Right, and it's so applicable to training. These personal trainers, there's a couple in our gym right now, and I see them with the same client every single week, and she's taking us through the exact same workout. Right. And this lady has definitely not made any progress because she's lifting the same 5-pound dumbbell every single time. And I think that just having this person do the same thing, they think they're getting all this benefit, but in the reality of it, the moment they stop being with you, they're going to realize that they've wasted 6 months of their potential.
That's true.
And I think that being a coach really means that you're helping someone to understand why they need to be doing the things they're doing. And I think, for you with powerlifting, I think that for a long time you've been doing the same bodybuilding kind of stuff, and you've never really been on a program, right?
It's true.
I'd always see you benching, you do a 5x5 like really, really often, and you never really change it because you thought that was what you should be doing. And there isn't really that much wrong with that, but what I'm saying is that by doing something that's completely different, you're
like
getting...
deadlifting.
Yeah, like deadlifting, for example, it's helping you on a holistic basis.
Right.
And squatting as well, you know, like, it's helping you to get stronger mentally and physically and improving your confidence, and then taking you through some different exercise variations can be super beneficial to your training long term. And I think that that's really something that personal trainers fall down on, because they only have kind of a basic level of understanding of fitness, and more fitness than like strength. So these people are going to them and they're having different expectations from what the personal trainer is able to provide for them.
Right. So, since we've talked a lot about what we don't like and the gym ethics that we disagree with, why don't we talk about gym ethics that we agree with, just in a general, unspoken sense? What should everybody know when they go into a gym?
That's kind of interesting. I think that everyone should know when they go into the gym that they should need to know what they're doing, right?
Right.
I really don't like when people just walk around aimlessly and they're like, okay, I'm going to do some bench press, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I think get on a program. Just get on any program. It doesn't matter what it is. Start with something basic, do a 5x5 program, do 5-3-1, get on a bodybuilding.com program. Just anything that is going to allow you to go in the gym and do something consistently so you can track your progress.
Right.
Because tracking progress is the most important thing. And I think that when I see that someone has a book where they're writing everything down, when I see that someone is using an app to do that, I really think that's great. I think that that's what everyone needs to be doing.
So let's get in the mind of a beginner, and you're about to go to the gym. Let's start with apparel.
Yeah.
Now, our gym has very strict policies on apparel,
very strict.
and like with girls and guys.
Yeah.
So why don't you discuss our gym's policy and then discuss what your policy would be?
All right. So our gym's policy is you have to wear a shirt at all times, which I think is kind of okay. You have to wear like shorts or pants all times. You can't wear jeans, anything like that.
Right.
You can wear cut off shirts, like shirts with the sleeves cut off, but they can only be like cut off to a certain point, so it's not like your whole side is visible or whatever.
Right.
And I think it's basically the same for girls. So the only thing you can't train in as a girl is like a sports bra or something.
Right, you can't show your midriff at all, actually,
for
a
really?
girl. Yeah, not even an inch of midriff. It has to be completely covered up, because I know Kelsey went in there once, and at 6 a.m., and she had about a half an inch of her stomach showing, and they wanted her to change. And she was like, I don't have anything. But since it was 6 a.m., they let it slide.
Oh my God.
But if it had been noon, she may have had to run back home and get a new shirt. Which, personally, I disagree with. I think as long as you're not making people uncomfortable, even very conservative people shouldn't be uncomfortable with women working out in a sports bra.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, is that, personally, I'm a huge hater of like these cut-off shirts. With the cutoff shirts, like, they go all the way down.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, why are you even wearing a shirt at that point? Just, like, don't ruin a t-shirt or just buy a tank top, right? But I think if people want to train without their shirts on, then I'm okay with that. As long as you're not, like, squatting without your shirt, maybe, because that's just going to put a ton of dead skin on the bar.
Yeah, I think as long as you have some sort of clothing on your upper body for at least a guy, it'll be okay.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I think a hole down the side of your shirt isn't going to change somebody's intimidation.
No, I don't think that it's even an intimidation. I think it's like their whole perspective is it's like a sanitation thing. But everyone like wipes down the benches after, which I'm like, well, what's the point? You're going in the gym, you're going to sweat, you're going to probably get other people sweating you regardless.
Yeah, it's true.
You're touching barbells which have huge amounts of dead skin in there. If you've ever wiped like a wipe over a barbell, you'll realize that there's about like a pound of dead skin in there. But like, who even cares? You're not going in the gym to be clean. When you come out of the gym, you're probably going to go home and shower. So it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So I really couldn't care less like if people are sweating a lot or whatever. I just think, go in the gym and look somewhat presentable. I think if you're walking in the gym and you've got a shirt that has like huge cut off on the side, I already am judging you as being a douche. And when you go up and like load up a plate and start quarter squatting, my suspicions were confirmed. But I don't really care. I think that I don't know what the rules are in terms of like just wearing like in terms of like guys just wearing leggings, because sometimes like I like to do that, but I've never seen anyone wear leggings without shorts.
Yeah, that's true.
I think leggings with shorts.
It's very popular at powerlifting competitions.
Yeah. I think leggings with shorts look kind of dumb, but leggings without shorts, it's better if you're doing like powerlifting training, because you're not wearing clothes that are restricting you really. But at the same time, like it takes one guy to have his dick flop out that ruins it for everyone. So that's all that matters.
So what about the difference between working hard and being loud and actually intimidating someone? Not Planet Fitness intimidating someone, but like can you unintentionally intimidate people in the gym? I think so.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've definitely done it. Like sometimes, especially if I'm getting really hyped up for a deadlift, or if I'm really grinding out some reps, I might make some pretty audible noises. I don't like normally scream, but sometimes I shout when I'm pulling a deadlift, and I swear sometimes. I've definitely done that more at home because I know at the USF gym they like to keep people out for doing that.
Right.
And kind of at home I slam the weight a lot because we have a deadlift platform, you can do that. Here you can't slam the weight, and that is my number one fault with our gym, is that not only are you using hex plates, which are basically impossible to control. If anyone's deadlifted with them, they'll know that. But when you put the weight down too heavily, they come over and give you shit. And I'm like, dude, look at my hands. My hands are ripped open. I'm lifting 520 for a couple reps. I'm trying to, bang out an AMRAP here. Can you just leave me alone? But it's like...
Does that happen to you?
Yeah. But
no way.
I think, obviously, from my perspective, I think it's really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Just let me do what I'm trying to do. But for other people, maybe... my sister once said this to me. She was like, sometimes I find it really hard when I go in the gym and people are banging around weights and being really loud. Like it makes me feel uncomfortable and a little bit scared. And I'm like, I can kind of see it from that perspective.
Right.
For a younger female, it might be more difficult going into that environment. And I think that's probably the intention behind what Planet Fitness are trying to do. But I think that they're just going about it the wrong way. They're taking away judgment completely and taking away equipment that people should be using, and it really draws that back. Maybe if they were just if one of their rules was you can't shout, you can't scream, and you can't drop the weight, I think it would be fine too, right? But you don't need a lunk alarm that people press to get rid of that. All you need is good, conscientious employees that go around and talk to people. And also, when people are signing up, you just say to them, hey, this might not be the best place for you if you're doing powerlifting, because we don't want people to be throwing down the weights, right?
Right, and I think something that a lot of gyms already do is they segregate.
Yeah.
So they'll have all the treadmills, even at our gym, they have all the treadmills upstairs. For people who don't want to be around that environment, they can just go upstairs.
I think that's good. I think the issue in our gym is that where all the racks are located is right next to where they have the yoga a lot. It's also kind of next to the machine section, so there's usually a lot of beginner lifters or
Well, there's also machines upstairs.
Yeah, but the bulk of the machines are right there, and there's a lot of beginner people or girls perhaps. I don't want to just say that it's just girls that feel this way, because a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is that if you're being overly aggressive and loud in that area, it might upset other people. I think it would be cool if it was a different area altogether.
Right.
I know in my gym back home we kind of have all the racks and the platform are downstairs in like one of the corners, so that it's kind of away from everyone else. But at the same time, you know, I do train pretty early, so sometimes they have like these old lady like TRX classes.
Yeah, they hang from the ceiling, right?
Yeah. They have like those, and like they're all staring at me when I'm trying to deadlift, and it's really I think it's worse for me than it is for them, because afterwards they will come up to me and they're like, "Hey, how much weight is that?" I'm like,
"Jeez,
fucking leave me alone."
Yeah.
But it's equally as bad training environment for me. Like the USF gym is not a really good training environment, because, you know, when I squat, everyone's looking at me and they're like, "Oh."
It's almost as if like a diversified gym can lead to an uncomfortable situation for not only those who aren't trying to weight train, but those who are weight training.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think that, you know, the rules of our gym aren't conducive to my success. You know, they don't have round plates. You can't drop the weight. You can't really be loud. You can't use chalk.
Right.
You're not supposed to bring in your own belts, but I do always use my own belt. So I think that makes it kind of difficult for me to train, because every time I'm going in there, someone is saying something to me, or people are looking at me in a way that would indicate they're uncomfortable with the situation. But at the same time, when everyone else around you is quarter squatting 135, it doesn't really encourage you to push yourself, because if these people are getting the same amount of credit for doing half a rep as someone is for doing an entire rep, then what's the point of this whole thing?
So, as a beginner, you're coming into the gym.
Yeah.
What tips would you give to him to not intimidate other people?
Right. So I think if it's your first time ever in the gym, go in there and accept that you don't know what you're doing, right? Because that's the most important thing to learning and growing as a person, is accepting that you don't know everything. So, if you really want to start squatting or start benching, and you're not exactly sure of what you're doing, okay, fine. First option, go ask someone that works in the gym, because they'll probably be able to help you. Maybe not a personal trainer, because they might charge you, but just someone that works there. They might give you a few tips and might get you started. Go home, watch YouTube videos. I think we're working on some how-to videos, so they'll be coming at you soon. But third option, ask someone for help. There's nothing wrong with asking people for help. People are more than willing to help you. I will help anyone that asks me for help. I might not feel great about it. Don't ask me in the middle of my set. If I'm sitting down in between sets, ask me for some help. I think that just go in there, accept that you're not the shit, right? Because you're not the shit if you're just starting out. You've got a lot to learn, and being in that environment and just making the most out of it is going to help you a lot.
Yeah, I think being respectful and just being generally like a good person, because you're not going to be walking on the street and you're not going to go up and take something from someone else, especially if they're trying to be there. If you see like a water bottle or a cell phone or a wallet already on a piece of equipment, it's probably being taken for a second. Yeah. They're probably just in the restroom. It's something. No, it's a good thing to know. It's a good thing to know. But just generally, just keeping in mind other people's feelings, and how realize that sometimes in that environment it can be high tension, and sometimes it can be low tension. So you just got to feel it out and see where the other person's at. And if you do ask for advice, make sure you do it at a conscientious time, and make sure you just generally approach everyone the way you would want to be treated. I guess would be,
I think that's the most important thing. I think for me, just make sure that you're doing everything you can to make that experience as good as you can. So for both of us, we like to train pretty early in the mornings, because it's not busy, so people don't bother me. There's a lot of space for me to train. There's not a ton of people in their quarter squatting at that time. It gives me the opportunity to go in there and get what I need to do done, and I can be pretty much as loud or as aggressive as I want to be in that time without people getting too offended by it. I still do temper my temper, I guess, a lot. I'm not like a super aggressive person. I don't want people to think that I'm like shouting and screaming, but sometimes, like, if I'm really pushing myself, I do have to do that.
Right, so I think as a beginner, it would be important for you to think about what your goals want to be.
That's
so
true.
If you want to just generally have just to get a little fitter and just have a healthier part of life, then maybe go to your local YMCA and check out and see what they have in their weight room. If your goal is to become a powerlifter and compete, then you need to find a gym that surrounds you with other powerlifters and people who are going way harder than you. Because in that environment, like we said earlier, it's the company you keep. Also, as a beginner going into the gym, you need to do like a little bit of homework before. Just realize that when you're using a barbell, make sure you put the bigger plates on first. No, seriously though, I have seen people do it the other way.
Yeah, no, I have too, but it's just I never really thought about that as being
just do a little homework,
Yeah,
you need to. If you are going to be a powerlifter, make sure your gym accepts chalk, because our gym does not, and that
is an issue.
Tears
That's a
up
make or break.
your hands.
Yeah,
tears up your hands.
That's true.
When you're going in, you need to make sure you need to look at the policies just overall. If the policies to you and if you disagree with some of the policies that the gym has, you may want to think about the kind of person who would agree with these policies. And if they agree with these policies, what kind of exercises will they be doing? If they're exercising in the way in your head, if you think they'll be exercising the way you want to be exercising, that's the gym for you.
I totally agree.
Now, if you see that the rules are a little too constricting for you, then look somewhere else.
I totally agree. I think a great resource for people that are trying to start out in powerlifting and looking for someone to train is powerliftingwatch.com, and they actually have a pretty good article that outlines some good they have like a list of all the powerlifting gyms in the US.
Like nationwide gyms?
Yeah, nationwide, like everywhere. No, like it could be like individual gyms.
Oh, really? They just keep a list?
They keep a list of like all the gyms in each area for like powerlifting, so that's pretty useful if that's what you're trying to do. I think, Andrew pretty much hit the nail on the head. Yeah. Just look for what you're trying to associate yourself with. Maybe don't join a CrossFit gym if you're trying to do bodybuilding, because it's, they're not the same thing, right? Don't join a powerlifting gym if you're trying to be a bodybuilder. I mean, maybe that's more similar, but at the same time, like look at what your goals are and try and find somewhere that's going to help you achieve them and associate with them a little bit better. I know for, if you're going into college, which a lot of people who listen to this will be, you just have to make the best of it and accept that you're going to have to make some compromises. For me, I know I can't use round plates right now. And it's pretty difficult, but it's a compromise I have to make because I can't drive.
Right, round plates, no chalk, no belts, whatever.
Exactly.
There's always going to be something that's going to be a little bit of a compromise.
Exactly.
But as long as you're respectful to the employees and to the people around you, you should have a great experience in the gym, regardless.
That's for real, man, for real. And don't do any of the dumb stuff we talked about earlier.
Yeah, there's just a few mistakes that people make, and a lot of times it's because people don't know. But
yeah, exactly. But I think you made the best point is that just read up on it, right?
Yeah.
Look up a gym, look up the rules, see what you can and can't do. Watch videos about how to do each individual exercise. They're everywhere. Like we said, we're gonna make some of those for you guys. If you really have some bugging questions about what you need to be doing if you're just starting out, send us an email at collegestrength@gmail.com. We will reply and tell you what to do and what not to do.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, that was a great podcast.
Yeah, I think
great conversation.
That's about it.
Thank you for being here. So check out our website, collegestrength.org. Check out our Twitter. It's @college_strong. Find us on Instagram at collegestrength. Find our apparel company on Instagram as 1RM Apparel. Find me on Instagram if you feel like it, at Alex Gwin. Send us your comments, questions, anything. We'd love to hear from you guys, and we'll be back next week.
All right, thank you guys.